topic on phacomatosis. Phacomatosis is derived from the Greek word phacometa or birthmark. It was the term coined by the Vanderhaave. Initially included the three syndromes in it: Von Hippel syndrome, neurofibromatosis, and tuberous sclerosis, where he clubbed all these syndromes based upon the ophthalmological activities in the patient. Syndromes. These are the syndromes characterized by the hematomas of the skin, eye, central nervous system, and other which are collectively called as phacomatosis. Coming to the first topic, neurofibromatosis. Neurofibromatosis is the most common type. It is otherwise called as von Reckling-Hassen's disease, whereas the neurofibromatosis 2 are central or bilateral acoustic neurofibromatosis. Neurofibromatosis 1 is most common phacomatosis. It is autosomal dominant inheritance. The gene involved is chromosome 17. It encodes for a tumor suppressor gene called neurofibrin. Coming to the criteria, presence of any two or more of the following 7 criteria helps in the diagnosis and confirms the neurofibromatosis type 1. The first one is capillary spots, 6 or more. Neurofibromas are 2 or more, and any plexiform neurofibroma 1 or more. Axillary or inguinal freckling, optic nerve glioma 1 or more, leash nodules 2 or more, and any distinctive osseous lesion sphenoid wing dysplasia which is present as a pulsating exophthalmos, or any first degree relative with neurofibromatosis 1. Coming to the clinical feature, capillary macules are hyperpigmented skin lesions seen in almost 99% of the adults with NF1. These are pigmented, flat, macular skin lesions, typically with smooth edges, whereas the ragged edges are present in McCune-Albright syndrome. These are present at birth. There are increase in size and number. Other pigmented lesions include there was axillary freckling and inguinal freckling. Neurofibromas these are benign narrow sheath tumors, is otherwise called as schwannomas. These are peripheral tumors. These are soft in consistency, which gives a buttonhole appearance as the skin is invaginated into the tumor. Neurofibromatosis are three types: solitary neurofibromas, multiple neurofibromas, and plexiform neurofibromas. Multiple neurofibromas are the characteristics of the neurofibromatosis 1 disease. This is a picture showing multiple neurofibromas, and other pictures showing facial dysmorphism where plexiform neurofibroma. Plexiform neurofibroma is most common in the V2, V3 division of trigeminal nerve, which cause facial dysmorphism. Coming to the ocular findings, leash nodules are the most common type. These are melanocytic hematomas. And other finding is eyelids maybe have either isolated neurofibromas or plexiform neurofibromas. They give the feeling of bag of worms, and there will be associated bony defects in the temporal, frontal, or sphenoid. This is isolated neurofibroma, and other picture showing the plexiform neurofibroma. Other feature is there was a narrowing angle at iris and corneal insertion leading to the congenital glaucoma. Other findings are optic nerve gliomas, pulsatile exophthalmos due to sphenoid dysplasia, and prominent corneal nerves. And conjunctival and scleral neurofibromas are rare. The picture showing optic nerve gliomas, and other picture showing the prominent corneal nerves. The picture is showing the optic nerve glioma. Red arrows indicating the optic nerve glioma. This is showing to show the exophthalmos. This is called exophthalmometer. The instrument shown in the picture is exophthalmometer. Coming to the management, any genetical disease requires a complete holistic approach, first starting from the genetic counseling to the follow-up of malignant diseases. A first degree relatives should be evaluated. Malignant tumors, excision, chemotherapy, or radiotherapy may be indicated. Management of optic nerve glioma remains controversial. It requires long-term follow-up, and sometimes it shows a good prognosis. Chemotherapy may stabilize vision or induce tumor regression. Another drug which is used for interstitial lung disease called as pirfenidone is tried in some of the neurofibromatosis cases. and in some cases we can use vinblastine and methotrexate. Coming to the neurofibromatosis 2, neurofibromatosis do not consist of much of a cutaneous manifestation. This only consists of the central manifestation, where the picture showing the CP angle tumor, bilateral CP angle tumor, is the characteristic of the neurofibromatosis type 2 disease. It is otherwise called as a central NF. As I already told, cutaneous findings are not predominant. It is also autosomal dominant inheritance. It encodes a protein known as faminomin, which is present on chromosome 22. Diagnostic criteria: bilateral vestibular schwannoma, first degree relative with NF2 plus unilateral vestibular schwannoma less than 30 years, or first degree relative with NF2 plus any of the two of the following, like meningioma, gliomas, or any other brain tumors, and other ophthalmological complications like lenticular opacity and juvenile cortical cataract. This is the picture showing the complete of a neurofibromatosis 2. Coming to the systemic findings, bilateral, as I already told, bilateral vestibular schwannomas are the diagnostic of NF2. Deafness with or without tinnitus is the most common. Blindness occurs as a presenting symptom in only 1% of the cases. Spinal schwannomas is present in 75% of the cases with NF2. This is the picture showing the bilateral CP angle tumor, and another picture showing the spinal tumor of schwannoma. Coming to the ophthalmological finding, posterior subcapsular cataract is the most common, retinal hematomas, and rarely dish nodules. The this is a picture showing wedge cortical cataracts and bilateral optical nerve schwannoma. These are the hematomas of retina. This is also, we have to plan surgery according to the stage of the disease. Stereotactic radiotherapy and the surgical resection is the main management of the treatment. Von Hippel in this syndrome, in this disease also, there was no much of clinical manifestation. Von Wille disease. He described a patient with seizures, hemiplegia, mental subnormality, and renal tumors. He based the terminology tuberous sclerosis on multiple potato-like tuberous lesions in the brain. Tuberous sclerosis is an example for the genetic heterogeneity. Genetic heterogeneity in which the two different genes are involved but cause the similar clinical disease. TSC1 is involved in the chromosome 9, and the TSC2 chromosome is 16. TSC2 chromosome 16 is nearer to the autosomal recessive polycystic kidney disease. So kidney diseases are more common in the TSC2 more than the TSC1. Coming to the diagnostic criteria, major features are the facial angiofibromas, periangular fibroma, hypomelanotic macule, Sjogren patch, cortical tumors, subependypal nodules, cardiac rhabdomyomas, lymphangiomyomatis, which is present mostly in the females, and renal angiomyolipoma, and minor features like multiple dental enamel pits, hematomatous rectal polyps, bone cysts, gingival fibromas, retinal achromic patch, and confetti skin lesions, and multiple renal cysts. Coming to the systemic findings, characterized by the hematomatous of the various organs, CNS to kidney, almost every organ is involved in the tuberous sclerosis. Hematomatous in the brain cause astrocytomas and gain cell tumors, and ependymyoma lead to childhood seizures and mental retardation. Sometimes the childhood seizures is the only presenting symptoms in infancy, so we have to one of the diagnoses in the childhood seizures is the tuberous sclerosis. Skin manifestation, before the skin manifestations, only seizures will be present. Clinical manifestations of TSC1 and TSC2 are similar, except that the TSC1 is milder with a reduced risk of mental retardation compared to the TSC2. More than the tuberous sclerosis, complex 2 is more dangerous disease than the tuberous complex 1 disease. Cutaneous manifestations are hypomelanotic macules or ash-leaf macules, fibrous plaques appear as a reddish-orange patches on the forehead. Facial angiofibromas are not present at birth and appear usually by the age of 5 years. These are hypomelanotic macules or ash-leaf macules. These are Sjogren patches and subungual fibromas, otherwise called as conian tumors. These are the facial angiofibromas. These are the hematomas. Adenoma sebaceum is the misnomer. There was no involvement of sebaceous glands in it. It was just a proliferation of fibroblastic blood vessels. Visceral manifestations include pulmonary lymphangiomatosis, which is present as a chylothorax and a pleural effusion. In a female, in any adolescent female came with a pleural pain and we suspect the tuberous sclerosis, we have to rule out this condition. Renal angiomyolipoma, cardiac rhabdomyoma. Imaging studies such as MRI of brain and CT abdomen are important to detect CNS and visceral involvement. Coming to the ophthalmologic complications, findings, more common subtle flat round semi-translucent lesion. I will show the picture. It may be present as a semi-translucent lesion or may be present as a mulberry lesion or may be present as a mixed type. It mostly present as a retinal hematomas. Coming to the management depends upon the location and extent of the involvement. Renal astrocytic hematomas usually need any periodic evaluation by the ophthalmoscopy and fundus photography. A patient with TSC related mental retardation requires supervision for daily living. Common causes of the mortality are renal disease, brain tumors, and status epilepticus. Patient need lifelong follow-up for early detection of potentially life-threatening complications. In a tuberous sclerosis, there was a theory that it acts by the mTOR pathway is mutated. mTOR pathway is a mammalian target of rapamycin. So in this condition, people are trying to use rapamycin topical as well as a systemic. It acts as a tumor suppressor. In addition to it, tyrosine kinase inhibitor like imatinib also used. Imatinib and rapamycin gave the good results in the tuberous sclerosis. Coming to the Sturge-Weber syndrome.
దీంట్లో tuberous sclerosis లో
renal and status epilepticus. Renal angiomyolipomas and status epilepticus.
ఎపిలెప్సీ అండ్ ఇన్ఫెక్షన్స్ కూడా చెప్పాలి కామన్ కాజెస్ లో. ఫస్ట్ ఎపిలెప్సీ, తర్వాత ఇన్ఫెక్షన్స్, తర్వాతే ట్యూమర్స్. ఈ రెండు కామన్. రెపామైసిన్ ఎట్లా ఇస్తారు అంటే విచ్ రూట్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్ఫెక్షన్?
It is given as a topic when it is present as an angiofibromas. You can try it as 0.05% of topical rapamycin at the night time application. If any brain tumor is suspected, rapamycin oral and in combination with the imatinib.
వెరీ గుడ్. ఇప్పుడు షాగ్రీన్ ప్యాచ్ హిస్టలాజికల్ గా ఏమైనా డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంటుందా నార్మల్ కి షాగ్రీన్ ప్యాచ్ కి, నార్మల్ స్కిన్ కి షాగ్రీన్ ప్యాచ్ కి?
మోర్ ఆఫ్ ఫైబ్రోసిస్ లైక్
ఉండదు, హిస్టలాజికల్ గా ఏమీ ఉండదు డిఫరెన్స్, ఓన్లీ క్లినికల్ షాగ్రీన్ ప్యాచ్. డిస్క్రైబ్ షాగ్రీన్ ప్యాచ్.
These are called as patches, but it is a misnomer. These are the plaques present mainly on the lumbosacral region.
Lumbosacral region plaques. Okay, అంతేనా? plaques in the lumbosacral region అంటే సరిపోతుందా?
Articarial lesions లో ఉంది మన పిక్చర్ లో అయితే.
ఇంకే ప్యూడి ఆరెంజ్ డింప్లింగ్ చెప్పాలి డిస్క్రైబ్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు షాగ్రీన్ ప్యాచ్. పేరెంట్స్ చెప్పాలి. డిస్క్రైబ్ చేయండి షాగ్రీన్ ప్యాచ్.
Soft skin colored patch with smooth surface and dimpling is seen and purity orange appearance is
dimpling purity angiofibrosis
dome shaped papule present over the center of the face and nasolabial folds.
nasolabial creases nunchi cheek chin
Ma'am, we are running out of time, ma'am. 40 minutes is the only the time limit.
Sir, చెప్పు అయితే.
I will continue, ma'am. Sturge-Weber syndrome. Sturge reported the case of the child with facial pottering, epilepsy and ophthalmos and dark choroid. And X-ray finding shows the rail track sign. Predominant manifestation is the hemangioma and leptomeningeal involvement. Sturge-Weber syndrome mainly present as an intractable seizure. Cutaneous manifestations of nevus clemens, all the most evident are mainly of diagnostic significance. Glaucoma is the most common manifestation in this disease. Leptomeningeal hemangiomatous is ipsilateral to cutaneous involvement. Contrast enhanced MRI for detecting cerebral atrophy and leptomeningeal angiomatous or malformation. If MRI is normal, CT scan is used to detect the intracranial calcifications. These are the leptomeningeal angiomatosis and the plain X-ray showing the rail track appearance. And these are the intracranial calcification. This is the CT picture, and this is the leptomeningeal angiomatosis seen in the MRI picture. Cutaneous hemangioma is also called as the nevus flammeus or port wine stain. Only 10% of the patients are associated with the SWS. Sturge-Weber syndrome only occurs in patients with involvement of V1 or V2 distribution of trigeminal nerve. Bilateral port wine stains have higher association. Leptomeningeal and ocular involvement in Sturge-Weber syndrome are always associated with the port wine stain involving eyelids. The port wine stain. Glaucoma is the most frequent complication. Angle maldevelopment or raised episcleral pressure leads to glaucoma. Choroidal hemangioma is usually ipsilateral, where the nevus occurs. That side only choroidal hemangiomas. Choroidal hemangiomas will lead to the X-ray to retinal detachment. Coming to the management, it's mostly medical management of status epilepticus and glaucoma. If any choroidal hemangiomas are present, it should be treated with low-dose standard radiotherapy or proton beam radiotherapy. Coming to the ataxia telangiectasia, we speak only the autosomal dominant disorder. First disease is this is only the autosomal recessive disease. This it is present. ATM gene is present on the chromosome 11. This disease mainly consists of the cerebellar feature along with the cutaneous manifestations and the telangiectasia of the eyelids and conjunctiva. Childhood neurodegenerative disorder with neural, ocular, and cutaneous manifestation. Progressive cerebellar ataxia in earlier childhood is hallmark of AT. In this disease, there was defective T cell function. So the infancy is more prone to the cyanopulmonary tract infections, and more intractable infections are present in this condition. First, you have to manage the infection. If any immunosuppressive if you suspect immunosuppressive child, you have to kept in mind one of the differential diagnosis ataxia telangiectasia for immunosuppression. Increase the susceptibility to various malignancies, particularly lymphomas and leukemias, contribute to early mortality. The picture showing the telangiectasia of the conjunctiva. Early it present over the limbus, and later it involves a whole eye. Ocular abnormalities include oculomotor apraxia, deficient accommodation. Combination of oculomotor apraxia and failure to suppress the vestibulo-ocular reflex is characteristic. Patient will develop impairment of pursuits by school age, increased saccadic latency. Visually, they not able to see the moving objects clearly. Visual acuity, pupillary response, and fundoscopic examination are usually normal. Management as any genetic condition, we have to give genetic counseling, treat infections, follow for the malignancies, and holistic approach and whole body scans to be done. And AT associated malignancies such as lymphoma, leukemia require modified chemotherapy and radiation. Thank you.